So in this video, I'm going to take you guys on my little circuit journey that I take pretty much every day during my lunch breaks. It's a very short route. It's about 10 minutes in total or less, depending on how fast I am moving. So let's jump right in. So when I first get started, I kind of pull over here for a minute only because I just want to make sure that my camera is actually properly set up. I don't know if you guys can see me, so I go ahead and stop to do that to make sure that basically everything I'm about to do is not going to be a waste, because if you don't see it, then obviously there is no video. So I do need to get a GoPro or something like that, but right now I'm actually using my cell phone attached to a very large tripod, and so it is very eye-catching and cumbersome while riding the board. And as you can see, I am again adjusting the camera settings just to make sure that I'm actually recording what I want to record, and I'm super paranoid, hoping that I don't have to do this whole video again. So basically I pull out and I get back onto the main road here and out of my neighborhood, and as you can see, cars are just jamming past me on the main road, but I'm keeping far away from the edge of the sidewalk, riding as safely as I possibly can. And this is generally the next street over that I ride on, and so this will basically avoid a lot of the traffic. Pretty chill street, I'd say. There is an interesting pair of driveways here, like that one that I just kind of carved. But there are some other things too, like some of these people's driveways are just begging to be rode on, so I always cut through here. And I do know the family or the older couple that lives here. They've stopped me on the Onewheel before, asking me questions, because they've never seen anything of the sort. And then I realized that I had taken the wrong turn because I got too excited about that sidewalk there, so I go back on the route here. We're just doing a little bit of some carving here, just to kind of mix up the video. Now you'll notice as I ride, I do a lot of stance adjustments or a lot of foot placement changing. It's not just bouncing for no reason. I do that so that I can distribute my weight to make sharper turns at higher speeds. And that brings me to the first thing that I'll go ahead and tell you guys. If you're having a problem with lifting your feet up or anything like that on the surface of your Onewheel when making tight turns while at high speeds, it is probably due to you not putting enough weight to tilt the wheel enough, especially on the Vega tire. You have to literally be on the sidewall in order to get a sharp turn. So I have gotten accustomed to it, and I actually just recently ordered a treaded tire, even though I mostly ride roads. But I feel like I have a pretty good hand on the road, and so I feel like the treaded tire will help me more when I'm off-road, as that is where I say I have a weaker point in. But off-roading is definitely probably the bread and butter of riding, as you will be going in places that you would have never decided to walk in. And that is one of the primary appeals of getting off the road. At the end of the day, these roads you've all driven across, of course they look different being this low and not being in a giant vehicle, but something about being off-road is quite liberating. So we are coming back up on the same street that you guys saw earlier. This is the same street in my neighborhood, or right outside my neighborhood, that I eventually have to face the music and cross this street. But I have found a safer location to do that, which is here at this crosswalk. So I continue moving forward because there is a gigantic bus that happened to pull right behind me, as you guys could hear the brakes there. That is definitely not my Onewheel. That is a large bus, as you'll see pass right here. And due to the traffic, I decided to actually use the pedestrian cross button, which I generally don't have to do, but at the time of the day that I was riding today, I did take my lunch a little bit later during the school time, and so there is a lot more traffic coming through this large road. once I get the green light, there is a car making a left turn that is going to cross in front of me, and then I continue on with my ride up this very steep hill. By the way, when going up hills, I do recommend going at an angle. As you can see, I'm crossing from one edge to the other, and then I'm going to go back to the other. This will allow you to keep yourself from slipping and nosediving, as the torque will get less weight and less pressure. You want to take as much weight and pressure off of the motor as you can when riding, so that you can ride as safely as possible. In fact, that is generally what causes a nosedive, is that there is too much weight and it can no longer balance you due to some resources being taken up, whether it be the motor trying to go faster, or you just simply nosedive at a low speed because you just put too much weight on the motor and it could not have enough torque to keep you going. So, we now cross into the park, which is a very fun place to ride, but I take the easier route because I do have a large camera on my hand here, really the phone and a tripod that, like I said, is about the size of my leg. So I am riding a little bit more careful, but usually I would bonk a lot of these things, catch a little bit of air, and really make the most out of this trail. This is a wet day as well, so I am taking it a little bit easier because the Vega wheel is not the best in water, as it is a slick tire. When it is a dry day, it is absolutely sticky, but when it is a wet day, it is very slippery. I have completely drifted before and come off the wheel simply by cutting a curb too tight with too much weight, downforcing down, and I was not able to break out of it and came off the one wheel. Obviously, of course, I was not hurt, as I am very padded. As you can see, I have ankle pads, I've got knee pads, I've got even leg and butt pads on right now. I am wearing elbow pads, and I'm wearing padding on my back as well through my book bag. So, a lot of padding here because I do trick riding as well, and you make many falls, and it is not pretty to have beat up ankles and bruises and things like that throughout your ride cycle and practice sessions. I actually don't normally take this route going back home, but since there was some conflict up at the park, I decided to keep moving into a different route. Next video, I will show you guys this route that I normally take, but I would do so when it is a little bit more safer to do so, and when I'm on another destination, there's a way to loop back around to it. So I am now back on my normal route here from that shortcut, and I am heading back home so that I can get back to work. I do apologize if this camera is a bit shaky or whatever problems that there are. Feel free to destroy me in the comments. It takes a lot to offend me. I do not wear my feelings on my shoulders. So I'm just waiting for it to be clear. It's always funny to see how the drivers, when they pass by you, to see their response when they just see you chilling, waiting at the corner of a street with a Onewheel. It's a very entertaining moment, to say the least. And as you guys can see, I did adjust my stance here due to the type of turns that I will be facing and the terrain that I'm going to be hitting here. Because I wanted to do a little bit of a drift on this water, as you just saw. And I prep for this jump as well, or bunk up on the curb of my house.